Hey everyone, my name is Mia. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing part 2 of a video series I'm doing to help you manage your mental health during a pandemic. I live with diagnosed depression, anxiety, and PTSD. I'm also a mom of 2 little kiddos, ages 2 and 4. I also work from home full time. So believe me, I know what it's like to try to juggle all the things, plus a battle many people can't even see every single day. So I'm sharing with you personal tips that I use in my life for the last several years, not just during this pandemic, that I know work for me, and I believe that a lot of them can work for you. So stick around for this video and many others. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell so that you're notified when I upload more content. If you missed part 1 of this series, I will link it in the cards and you can go ahead and watch it later. But let's go ahead and dive into today's video. So the first tip I want to give you that a lot of people don't do, but I'm telling you it's super important. I'm telling this to myself too, because I have not been doing this, I've been slacking, is gratitude and intention setting in the morning. I know sometimes when we wake up, usually because our kids wake us up, it's easy to just jump into overdrive and start doing all the things, and then you feel frazzled and unproductive and like you got nothing done at the end of the day, and that's because you didn't take time to ground yourself with gratitude. Do not underestimate the power of paper and pen. It is incredible and vital and helpful, and it is something that's so easily overlooked because you're like, it's just paper and pen. It's not like a 20-day yoga retreat. I understand that, but paper and pen is scientifically proven. When you write down your thoughts, it's scientifically proven to help you calm down, to help your brain make connections, to help you get clear and focused. And don't we all need more clarity and focus? I don't know about y'all, but I'm needing clarity and focus every single day, because every morning I feel like I wake up and there's 25 things or more that need my attention, that are screaming at for me for my attention. There's so many distractions. Okay, sorry. I'm really passionate about this. Can you tell? I just feel like there's so many distractions out there, and plus every day in the news there's something massive happening, that it's so important that we get quiet with ourselves and set that clarity and intention for the day. So what do I mean by this? Grab a piece of paper, a notebook, what have you. Ideally not your phone, not the notes app on your phone. Put your phone somewhere else. Grab a pen, and you're gonna write down 3 to 5 things you're truly feeling thankful for that day. And then you're gonna write down some intentions. So for me, sometimes my intentions are kindness, calm, peacefulness. I wanna bring those things into my day, into everything I do today. Sometimes my intentions are, get this one really important thing done for work. That's my intention for today. Sometimes my intentions are, sit down and play with my son uninterrupted for 15 minutes. Your intentions can vary day to day, but I am telling you, if you write it down from a place of gratitude, you're more likely to do it. So I highly encourage you to do it. If you struggle with this as a habit like I do, one of the things that helps tremendously is keeping that place where you write those intentions where you can see them. The time I was most consistent with this habit was when I had a bunch of printable gratitude pages that I had in like a filing folder thing on my dining room table, so that after breakfast, when I was finishing my coffee, my lukewarm coffee, I would jot out my gratitude and intentions while I finished my coffee. So that's a combination of this is a great tip from the book Atomic Habits. That's a combination of environment design, where you are designing your environment to support your habits by having that physical reminder of your notebook or that piece of paper next to you where you can see it every day, and also habit stacking. I drink my coffee every morning after breakfast. So what can I do while I do that, before or after I do that activity, that my brain is so on autopilot to drink my coffee every day after breakfast that I'm going to do it. So I know you think you might not be a journaler and that you can't do this, but this habit only takes 2 to 3 minutes a day, and it can change the trajectory of your day and help you focus on what really matters. Habit number 2 is having a practice of reflecting on what you are proud of yourself for each night. So if you're one of those people like me that goes to bed and you feel like, oh my gosh, I got nothing done, this day got away from me, nothing important happened, that's a lie. That's your anxiety talking to you. That's your perfectionism talking to you. That is not true. So one of the things I cultivated back when, especially in the early days of motherhood with newborn, I would break out a journal and write down 3 things I'm proud of myself for accomplishing that day. And it was like, my kids are alive. I kept them fed and loved all day long. Number 2, I made dinner tonight and I made enough for leftovers for tomorrow. Incredible. Number 3, I made sure to shower today. Absolutely awesome. And that enables you to be realistic with yourself about what you're actually doing in the day. Be proud of yourself for what you're doing in the day. Celebrate yourself. And when you do that at night, It helps you to calm down and to go to sleep from this place of, wow, I did the best I could. Do not underestimate how doing this practice for your mind will help you sleep better. Trust me. Number 3, one of my favorite tips of all time is use baths to unwind. I live with anxiety and PTSD, like I said, and pretty much all day, my shoulders are getting closer and closer and closer to my ears if I don't take time to regroup. So what I recommend is taking a bath. My baths can range anywhere from 15 minutes to a full hour, depending on how much time I have. I fill up the tub with hot water. I get all the toys from the kids out of the tub, and I put a ton of Epsom salts in there. Epsom salts are for muscle aches and pains, and I put a couple drops of essential oil. You can get this at any grocery store. It costs next to nothing, and it is so worth it. It makes your bath more luxurious. I also turn all the lights off, so I can tend to get overstimulated throughout the day. So once the kids are in bed, I set up my bath, I turn off the lights, and I light a couple candles, so there's just a little bit of light in there. And sometimes I'll listen to an audiobook or some relaxing music, or nothing at all, and I just sit in there and I allow that bath to relax my muscles and soothe me and calm me down. And it is one of the best ways to prepare for bed. Hands down, take those baths, take as many as you need. It is absolutely worth the time and energy to do it. Number 4, and I know you're not gonna wanna hear this from me or from anyone, but you need to meal plan and prepare your meals. Listen, those of us who struggle with mental illness, any sort of anxiety or depression, we need to lessen the amount of decision fatigue we have. All day long, we're making decisions. What are our kids going to do for activities? Where do they need to go? What's the Zoom link? When are we going to clean this up? When are we going to fix that shelf? When are we going to sit down to do these emails? There's just so many decisions, and it can be so exhausting. And when you have anxiety or depression, you only have so much energy. And if you're living in this pandemic and you're hitting that pandemic wall, do yourself a favor and just make meals easier. So one of the things I do is I order groceries. We do not waste time and energy going to grocery stores and freaking out about all the things pandemic related. We order our groceries and we plan our meals Saturday or Sunday in the morning when I have energy, right? I make the meals as simple as possible, usually meals that are in one pan or one pot, meals that go in the oven, meals that are easy cleanup. And one of the beautiful things about this is that by 4 p.m., when I'm completely zonked from a day of working and momming, I don't have to go, what's for dinner? I don't know, let's just order out again. I look at this piece of paper, I have a meal plan on the fridge, and it tells me what's for dinner. It's like, oh, it's salmon and rice and broccoli, and the salmon was already cooked on Sunday, and all we got to do is steam this broccoli in the microwave for a minute and a half. Okay, so it's just so, I can't tell you how many times last week I was just so tired, and I looked at the fridge and I was like, oh, that's what we're eating. I literally couldn't even tell you what was on my meal plan. I literally couldn't even tell you what was for dinner because I was so tired. I'm so tired. I mean, I know I'm not the only one. And thank goodness there was a piece of paper where I had already written down all the meals for the week, and there they were. So meal plan and prep, it is absolutely worth it. I highly encourage you to do it. Tip number 5 is take a mental health day if you can. What is that? It's using a paid sick day from work or just taking time off work in general. And I know this is not feasible for everyone. I used to work at a job that I absolutely despised if anyone took any time off at all. But now I'm lucky enough to work at an organization that encourages people taking time off. It's still hard to do because we definitely live in a hustle culture in America, but I did that last week. Last Thursday, there was a lot to do, but I was feeling very overwhelmed, very heavy. I texted my boss and said, hey, I would like to take a day off today. She was in complete support of it, which is also why we need more women in leadership, just saying. And I spent that day resting and relaxing and trying to stay calm and all those good things. And I do want to say to anyone out there who is a stay-at-home parent and your spouse or partner is the one out working and you can't take a paid sick day, I have been there, let me tell you, where I have been sick and tired and exhausted with a newborn and a 2-year-old, but my husband has to leave for work. He can't take a paid sick day, which is terrible. And I'm at home sick and taking care of kids. So, please know that I come from a place of totally understanding the reality of the world. And what I would encourage you to do then is after your kids go to bed, leave the dishes, leave the laundry, leave the crumbs on the floor, and you decide that from 8 to 10 p.m. is your time. You cannot just go, pour out every day, all day, and expect yourself not to completely fall apart and have a mental breakdown. You need to have at least one day a week or one evening a week where you are not pouring out, where you are intentionally pouring in. So again, my husband used to travel a lot for work, so I would go days without him. And so after the kids went down, that was my time. That was my time. And did I have to do the dishes the next day? Yes, but I was more refreshed. I was less burnt out because I had taken time to nourish myself in the evening and then go to bed at 10 and try to wake up as refreshed as I could. So if you can't take a mental health day, we're not about perfection here, okay? I am teaching you about sustainable self-care because it quite frankly saved my life when I was in a really dark place. And I know that the constant preaching of like taking multiple days off is not realistic for a lot of us mothers. It's just not realistic. So let's screw perfectionism and let's do what we can with what we have and know that that is more than enough. It is good enough for now and it is going to keep you from unraveling. So it is absolutely worth the effort. Number 6 is an obvious one, but I feel like I can't repeat it enough, and that's go to therapy if you can. I go to therapy every single week. There was a time I could not afford that because of horrible health insurance, and I went every other week at that time. And before that, I went to support groups, which is my next tip. Go to support groups. Even if you're in therapy, support groups are amazing. There was a time I was going to weekly therapy, and even though I was working on my own individual challenges, I still felt extremely alone. It was the year when I was, for the first time ever in my life, recognizing all the traumatic events that I had gone through, all the abuse I had endured, all of it. It was extremely isolating. The friends I did have, I would share some things with them and they just couldn't fathom or understand or get it because they didn't have that happen to them in their childhood. And thank God, I'm so glad that they didn't have that happen to them. I don't want everyone to have trauma happen to them for me to relate. But with that being said, it can be really lonely. And so the thing that I started to do was I went on Saturday mornings to this support group for survivors of abuse. And I can't tell you how incredible and powerful it was to share a bit of my story at this table and have a bunch of kind, warm, loving, understanding faces looking back at me. I didn't have to. Survivors know this. It's like we have to try so hard to describe our feelings and our experiences because people who didn't go through it just do not understand. And it can be so exhausting for a survivor to have to do that. But we struggle with loneliness and isolation. And sometimes we have to explain to people we love what we're going through. And it's hard if someone we love doesn't know what we're talking about, you know? So support groups bring to me and brought to me something I didn't get in therapy, which was that survivor connection, that look and that understanding and that validation from people who know exactly what I'm talking about and they don't need further explanation. So I highly encourage you to join a support group. I run a support group. If you're interested, I will link it down below. It's called No Longer Last. It's a full group coaching program, but I'm sure there are some support groups locally where you live that you could go do a virtual offering, and a lot of churches run support groups as well. So seek it out. Seek out therapy and seek out support groups. Make it happen. Do not delay this. You don't realize how much you need that connection with others who know what it's like to live with anxiety, or who know what it's like to live with depression, or who know what it's like to parent during a pandemic. You need to be around other people who know what you're going through, because loneliness compounds the hardship we're all facing. It's already hard enough living and parenting and working in a pandemic. Don't make it harder by feeling and being alone in it. Which leads me to my next point. Number 8 is plan regular calls with friends. Obviously, if we weren't in a pandemic, I would say plan to hang out with your friends, but that's not feasible for a lot of us. So last week I did something so loving for myself, and I'm so proud, as I finally texted a friend and I said, hey, how about we have dinner over Zoom? And she was totally down to do it. And I'm so excited. And I realized for the longest time I hadn't reached out because I was like, everyone's so sick of being on Zoom and everyone's so tired. And that is true. But we also are longing for friendship and connection. So just reach out. You don't know what they're going to say, and they might actually be super happy that you reached out. So now all this week I have something to look forward to. I have a fun dinner date planned with a friend over Zoom, but I'm just so excited that I have that in my calendar. So reach out to a friend after this video, text a friend and ask if they want to hang out. Number 9, intentionally do things that bring you joy. Okay. Yes, in the midst of a pandemic and a lot of stressors, it's still important that you find joy. And I know that a lot of your outlets have been taken away. If we weren't in a pandemic right now, I'd be going to a weekly dance class because man, do I miss dancing. But last night, turning on that 90s hip hop playlist and dancing around with my family was honestly really joyful. We went and got ice cream the other night with cones, which makes it extra special. And I had ice cream with my kids last night, and that was amazing. And then on Friday, I closed my computer and I thought, you know what? Let's go have a picnic. Let's go eat dinner outside at a park. And we went and grabbed some pizza and we had dinner on the grass at a park and saw the sunset. And man, joy is actually way more accessible than we realize. But we just have to step outside of all of the hardship and all of the narrative that things are hard right now. We just need to sit still and hunker down and hold on tight. And it's like, no, we can still breathe through this time. We can still do whatever we can to breathe through this time. And I'm not trying to discount loss or grief, because I have experienced loss and grief in my life, but I cannot let it completely suck all the air out of me, because then I can't keep the will to live. So joy, find that joy. It doesn't need to be expensive and it doesn't need to be complicated. Like last night, eating ice cream and dancing to 90s music with my kids was the joy I needed to bring into this next week. So cultivate joy every week. Look at your calendar and go, where am I bringing in joy? Can we do a picnic lunch here? Can I order my favorite meal on Friday night as a celebration for making it through the week? Can I plan to watch a movie with my husband that we've been wanting to watch for a long time and make sure we go to Trader Joe's and get all the awesome snacks so it feels like we're going on a movie night date? Whatever it is you need to do, plan out that joy, because a lot of times I think we just do the grind and we do the regular scheduled programming for a week, and then we get to the end of the week and feel burnt out and exhausted and we're like, that was so boring and awful, I don't want to do it again. But I think that joy takes a little bit more planning than we realize. It takes planning because a lot of what we do is on autopilot. A lot of what we do is automatic, and we do it every week and we do it every day. And in order to bring something new, fresh, different, you have to step outside of your comfort zone and plan that, whether it's making sure that you add some snacks to your weekly grocery run, or making sure that you, plan to sign off work at 4 p.m. instead of 6, so that you have a little bit more time to catch the sunset before it goes down. So I hope that helps you to figure out ways that you can bring more joy into your week. The last tip, and it should be an obvious one, is talk to your doctor if you're struggling with any sort of mental illness, depression, anxiety, PTSD, nightmares, struggling to sleep. Okay, I am no shade if you need to go take sleep medication, get your sleep straight, okay? Like I keep saying, sleep is just so important. But going back to just general mental illness is an illness and it should be taken seriously. I have been working on my mental health for the last 7 years, but it wasn't until I started taking it very seriously and went and got a clinical evaluation from a psychiatrist, got officially diagnosed with PTSD and major depressive disorder, and then started medication, which saved my life. Thank God for that doctor, and thank God that I had the wherewithal to seek out that professional help. So here is your reminder. If you needed a sign, here it is. Your mental health challenges are real and valid and serious. Not taking care of your mental health is how it spirals out of control. It's how it compounds. Think of any sort of illness, or think of getting a cut and not cleaning it and not putting a bandage on it and not putting ointment on it and just letting it sit and fester. It's gonna get worse. And that is mental illness as well. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I honestly hope that you take this advice so that you don't go through the incredible and ridiculous amounts of pain and suffering that I went through. So much darkness, so much hurt, so much pain for no reason, all because I thought that I could just muscle through my mental illness without any outside help. It's an illness. It's a serious illness. So I encourage you to take your mental health seriously. You don't need to be in a dark place to get help. You could just be struggling to sleep or struggling to focus throughout the day, and that can be enough to reach out to your doctor for support. Okay, so don't wait till it gets totally out of hand. So that's all I have for you all today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure you comment below and let me know which tip resonated with you the most, which tip you're going to try this week, or share with us a tip that you use in your daily life to support you on your mental health journey, because we could all be learning from each other. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next week. Bye.